Good morning. I'm Megan and this is JoyThriveGlow. Welcome to my very first FlossTube. So I just want to let you know I'm very new to cross stitch. So I don't have a whole lot to show you in the way of cross stitch projects at this point. But I've just recently learned about FlossTube almost a month ago now, and I really like the idea of the community, and I've enjoyed seeing all the different projects people are working on, and I've gotten a lot of inspiration from it. So I thought, why not make my own video? So, sorry, need a little bit of coffee right now. So yes, let's see. So like I said, let me give you a little introduction. I'm Megan. I'm 33 years old. I consider myself a nerd, if you couldn't tell already by my by my little Star Wars mug here. So I envision a lot of my cross stitch projects will be very nerdy. So if you think you might like that, then stick around. I also, in this video, will go over some of my other crafty projects that I'm working on. I really enjoy crochet, and I'm making myself learn to knit a little bit. So I do have some of those things to share with you guys, if you're interested. But since I am declaring this a FlossTube video, I will start with crochet. No, I won't start with crochet. I'm going to start with cross stitch. Okay, so a little background about my cross stitch history actually begins with embroidery, I would say. I don't remember exactly how young I was, but my grandma gave me like an embroidery kit for maybe pillowcases or something, early elementary school. Maybe 3rd or 4th grade, something like that. I don't remember exactly. I think she just knew I was crafty and I like to make things. So I actually got this basket from her when, I don't know. I don't remember how old or how young I was. But I was not very old. So there's, so it's lined. Oh, you can't see. Forgot which camera I'm using. You can't even tell. But it's lined here. It has some pockets for your needles and your tools that you would need. So for a while I didn't have a whole lot in here because I'm like, this is my embroidery bag, but I didn't really have embroidery stuff. So then I was like, okay, it's my sewing bag. And then over the last few years, because at this point, so like, trying to think, if I was about 10 or younger when she gave it to me, I've had this bag for like 20 years. So at some point I'm like, it's just gonna be a general crafting bag. But since it's so thin, it's not ideal for yarn projects. So for a while I was just housing my coloring books and things like that. So that was its most recent iteration. But now that I have like hoops and stuff again, I actually have kind of my cross stitch project started. So I have one project started right now, and I'm intending that to be a gift for my boyfriend for Christmas. We are, as you already know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. He's a huge Star Wars fan. He's even more into the lore than I am, I would say. So he loves The Mandalorian, the TV show that's on Disney+. I definitely enjoy it, and I catch a lot of references, but he is even more familiar with like the animated series, the Clone Wars and Rebels. So he catches even more references than I do. So this very first project that I'm starting is this one right here. It's When You Wish Upon a Death Star, and it has Mando and Baby Yoda, which is not his name. He's not Yoda. He is a baby a baby Yoda species. So whatever species Yoda is. Anyways, you don't need to know that. And he has a name, but I'm not going to give spoilers right here. But I thought this was super cute. And I would not mind having it displayed in our house, in our apartment, in our living space. So, yeah, so that's my first project. Most likely I'm not going to do the little balloon that he's holding, which is super cute. It's a little Mickey Mouse balloon, but I think we kind of like the idea of the baby trying to hold the Mandalorian's hand. So I got this. This is a PDF download pattern from, I bought it on Etsy, and the store is Stitch Area, the shop. So yeah, Stitch Area Modern Patterns. So Stitch Area on Etsy. So yes, so let me show you the project and then I'll show you the other patterns that I have purchased from this shop. And yeah, we'll start with that. So far, this is what I have. So I've been learning. So I'm pretty pleased with how far I've come. I did start in the middle, which was, where exactly is the middle? Which is like right over here was the middle. So I did stuff around here, and then I outlined a bunch of it and came down here. For my original plan was I was going to outline this whole thing. So he has his weapon that comes out here, and then it goes down this way. So initially I was going to outline all of that so that way I could just fill it all in and, not have to worry about counting. But I got really frustrated because it was really hard for me to count when there's nothing else to reference over here. So I just needed to see progress mentally. So then I just started filling it in. And so now that I'm back down here, near his legs, I will need to start counting a little bit. But it'll just be a lot easier for me to reference it. So I know that my stitches are not super great in the beginning part, but it's gonna look fine. And for a first project, I know it's gonna be okay. I basically was teaching myself from YouTube videos, but as I'm sure many of you know, that even when people explain things to you and they're trying to make it as super simple as possible, you don't know what you don't know. So even if they're using very simple terms and very simple ideas, until you experience it yourself, you just don't have a reference point to know what they're meaning. So you understand the words and you can even repeat the words, but those words don't have the same meaning to you until you've experienced it. So basically what I'm saying is that I watched some YouTube videos and got the basics of what I needed, just enough to start. And it was one of those, like, I just need to start, just need to do something. I know it's not going to be perfect, it's going to be okay. And as I'm doing it, I'm like, I know I'm not doing everything right. I know that my stitches are being crossed differently, I'm not being consistent, but hey, it's something, and I just need to practice, and I need to do something. And so the other day, after progressing a little bit on this piece, I went back and rewatched some of those videos, and they made a lot more sense now. Now that I've done a few rows, and I don't know, it just clicked a little bit more. So if you were able to look much closer on here, and I just don't have a camera set up to show you too well, I'm sure that an experienced cross stitcher could look at the piece and see that there's progress, and see that I'm understanding now how to be consistent with which way my stitches are going, like the angle. One thing that I kind of found helpful for me was, okay, I'm gonna just show you a diagram on my pattern. I'm not gonna show you the actual pattern. Let's see if I can do this. And I know it's not even that big, but I drew myself a diagram, and it might not even be like officially right. Okay, it's not gonna focus. But basically just showing, reminding myself that, okay, this is always where I'm always going to start here and go up here and then go here and then there, instead of, I don't know, I need to draw myself a diagram so that I remember how I've decided I want to stitch my stitches. Then, I don't know. So, but if anyone happens to find this video and you guys have any tips for me or any other videos to watch that might be helpful for brand new beginners, please comment and let me know. I would definitely be interested in any tips that you have for people who are still very new. So that's all I have for right now. But I'm like, what better time to start a FlossTube channel from someone who started from the very beginning. And it's okay, sorry, my camera lighting's going in and out. It's still super early in the morning. The sun won't be out for a while yet. This is the time I have to record. I know later in the afternoon when the sun's coming through a window over here, it would be a lot better, but we're just gonna have to deal with the artificial lighting. So, that's what I'm working on. I'm hoping to get this done by Christmas, and it's the 10th right now, so I still got a little bit. I do have plenty of other projects that I'm working on, not cross-stitch related, but I think I can do it, especially because, as you can tell, Mandalorian's the most dense piece right here. I do have this section here, but once I outline that, I don't think the actual rows are going to take that long at all. So I know, well, I mean, we'll see though. I really don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't really done this before. The letters may take longer than I'm anticipating simply because I'm going to have to count more, but we'll see. So one reason I chose this pattern to start with is, well, first of all, I liked it and it could be a gift, so it was the perfect time to start making it. But I like that it was monochromatic. I don't, just the one color. I don't anticipate many of my future projects to only have one color, and especially to be all black, because I know that I'll get tired of that. But for my first project, it's not a problem that it's only black, but I'm already thinking like, oh man, how cool would it have been if I started with black and did white, because that was a sample that they had shown, was to reverse it. But I'm like, oh man, if I had sparkles in there, so if it was black and I had like silver stuff, or even if I had black with some sparkle for the stars, which could be a thing that I do. I'm so many different things that I probably could do with this. But anyways, it's a start. It's a start. So I don't have anything else in my stash. I don't have any other Aida. That's just Aida I got at Hobby Lobby. It's just DMC. What's the DMC floss that I got at Hobby Lobby? I bought three skeins of it. I'm hoping that'll be enough. I think that's about how much it's suggested. How much does the pattern suggest? So it was one of the, so I went to the store and I'm like, I really don't even know what to look for. Like, I'm pretty sure that I want Aida, and then, so I was there at the store figuring out what count Aida. And I had just enough knowledge to know that, what the numbers in the count meant. 14, 16, 18 count. I kind of thought maybe I'd want to start with 14 count just because I knew the holes would be bigger and it might be easier for me to see. But when I was looking at the dimensions, of it, and then especially because they had the different size hoops there, and I'm like, oh wait, I don't think I want it quite that big. So I settled, and I didn't want it quite as small hole-wise in the Ada as an 18 count, so I went with the 16 count. So, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure I picked out a 16 count Ada. Now there are creases and stuff in it. After watching some FlossTube, I'm like, oh, am I supposed to wash the fabric beforehand? Am I supposed to press it? I don't know. So if you guys have an idea, there's more I should be doing with my cheap fabric I'm getting at Hobby Lobby before I start, please let me know. Please give me some guidance. I don't currently own an iron. I haven't had my own place for very long. I've lived with family and friends and rented from them for basically all my adult life. This is my first time having my own place, and so I've not really had need for my own iron. So that might be something I'm getting the more I'm getting into more fabric crafts, because I'm kind of have an itch to do some more sewing, which I haven't done since I was a kid. So I want to sew. So I'll probably need to get an iron at some point. But anyways, I'm rambling quite a bit. Let me just show you some patterns that I've already purchased. And yes. Okay, I'm trying to do this all in one take, so sorry if I have too many filler words. Okay, so Stitch Area on Etsy had a, well, I was gonna say they had a sale going on, but I do believe what I purchased was just a thing that they always have, like you buy so many patterns at a time and you get a discount. So I purchased a bunch at a time. Let's see, I bought Mando. I bought a total of 5 patterns from them. Yes, so I think it was buy 5 and you got, I don't remember, you got a decent amount off. I was excited. So, yes. So the one non-nerdy pattern I got, and I'm going to show you, I only have a black and white pattern. I may or may not, once I record this video, put colored pictures up here of the pattern, but if I only show you my printed black and white copies, you can always go to check out Stitch Area on Etsy. And you know, I'm gonna probably just hold it back here instead of getting too close, because I think my camera light messes up. I even have extra lighting, like a ring light over here, but anyways. But so I had this wreath. It also came with the alphabet to put whatever letter you want in here, and it's a flower wreath. I'm excited about this. I'll probably put an M in there, most likely. Yeah, so anyways, super basic, but it looked pretty simple, not too detailed. Not that, I'm never gonna say never, but the super detailed projects probably won't be in my future. Not that I don't like the aesthetic and I don't like the look of like full cover detailed projects, but that's not something that I've seemed to enjoy working on in my crafty life. Just when it comes to like coloring pages, for instance, I've always liked a lot more of like one solid color, or you know, maybe some shading in it, but I just like, I'm not into too much detail. Even my crochet projects, I just want it to be one pattern that repeats most of the time, with few exceptions of by making a plush character or something. But for the most part, I like bigger areas of one color instead of tons of shading and tons of changing colors. So this will, it might be a while before I do this just because it's more intricate, but I really like the pattern, and I wouldn't mind having that up in my living space. So, okay, moving on. Other patterns I have purchased are, I have Baby Yoda over here. Sorry, it's flipped. And then Stitch. So they're just adorable together. And now they're officially both Disney, you know, characters, kind of. So, that, I'm excited to do that someday. I think that'll be super cute. Of course, Baby Yoda theme. One thing I really like about this pattern is that there's a version for coffee time and a version for tea time. And most likely I will make both of them. I probably won't display them together. I might not even keep both of them, but I really like coffee and tea. Definitely more coffee, so this would probably be the first one I would do when I get around to it, over tea. But yeah, but it's super cute. You probably can't tell, but in the mug, it's even lined coffee, and then the other one has tea on there. Yeah, so super cute. I'm trying to think, I had something else I was gonna say. I had a thought, I'm so sorry. Oh, right. An alarm to remind me I have to work at some point soon. So interesting. How my lighting just completely changed. I think I'm okay with it though. Maybe more light just came through my window. Anyways, rambling again. Sorry. So in the show, Baby Yoda, again, his name's not Baby Yoda, but that's what I like to call him. He's not drinking coffee, he's not drinking tea, he's drinking bone broth. So, and I enjoy drinking bone broth as well. So I am gonna envision someday if I got super inspired to figure out how to actually put bone broth time or something, but I might not actually do that because it's much cuter to think of him drinking coffee. Last pattern that I bought from Stitch Area is this Game of Thrones inspired Home Sweet Home. So, and if you're familiar with the Game of Thrones logo, you can kind of see that the O's are Game of Thrones looking. So me and my boyfriend and I, both of us are really enjoyed Game of Thrones. So I can totally see us enjoying having that up in our space. So those are patterns. So that's the extent of my pattern collection right now. So those of you who start following me from the beginning, you'll probably see as I descend into madness, as many people seem to do with cross stitch. Alright, so now I will tell you just about a couple things that I have purchased that should be arriving. Oh man, I forgot the name of the shop. I told myself I was going to write this down, but I'm sure I'll link it down below. But I have this kit coming, and I might put a picture of the color of the actual thing here eventually, but we'll see. But anyways, I'm excited. A Woman's Place is in the Resistance. So it'll be the full kit. It's super simple from what I can tell, the pattern. Even the designer person, the shop I bought the kit from, they market it as being for beginners. So I think that will be perfect for me, because this is definitely the look, the cross stitch like aesthetic that I'm drawn to, and I anticipate wanting to make a lot of. So I think this will be perfect. So most likely this would be the next project I work on. I just bought it the other day. I don't think it's shipped yet, but it will come with everything I need. I just re-looked over the listing. I did request, I did order the version that came with the hoop as well, just because it wouldn't be bad for me to have more hoops, since that's how I anticipate cross stitching for a while, and I don't I don't have many in my collection. Like I have this one. This one I actually got at Joann Fabrics, because the one that I bought at Hobby Lobby, my initial one, it just feels really cheap. I mean, it is super cheap, but it's more rough. So when I went to Joann Fabrics, I was disappointed that they didn't really have Aida fabric, because I seriously considered starting this over, just because there was a bunch of stitches that I realized I'd counted wrong and I had to take out, and I'm like, I'm just going to start over now that I know more what I'm doing. But they didn't have more fabric. I'm like, okay, just going to buy a seam ripper, because I didn't have one yet. And this caught my eye. This was a lot smoother. So anyways, those are the two hoops I currently have. I'm sure years ago, 20 years ago, when Grandma first gave me the basket and stuff, I know that she gave me some hoops. I remember having like a pale blue plastic one, it was smaller. But I know that over the years, as I've gone through my stashes of craft supplies, that I know that I just got rid of it, because I'm like, what am I really gonna embroidery? So I kind of wish that she had started me, like when she bought that initial kit for me, I kind of wish she'd started with cross stitch and that she gave me cross stitch, because I think that I would have enjoyed that even more. I definitely like the idea of embroidery and being able to learn all the different like specialty stitches and have, I don't know, I guess more freedom on like where you're putting stitches, because it's not determined by the grain of the fabric. But I think I may have actually stuck with cross stitch, because it is so simple, and sometimes it's nice to have the lines so you know exactly where your stitches are supposed to go. So yeah, anyways, I anticipate this being my next cross stitch project. I have already purchased, and they're on their way from Etsy, from the various sellers on Etsy, a couple needle minders, because I never heard of needle minders until like a week ago, where of course on FlossTube, someone mentioned them. I think they had, was it Play by Kim dragons, which looked amazing, but I'm like, I don't need those right now. So I found a couple listings for some Baby Yoda some Baby Yoda needle minders. If I think of it, I might link them below, or I might just wait till I get them and I can show you. But I did buy, I think there's a Star Wars one. It's either Baby Yoda that I got, or I may have gotten a droid. I might have gotten BB-8, I'm not sure. And a TARDIS, Doctor Who TARDIS, from an Etsy seller in the UK. That's already on its way, but obviously I'm in the US. It has to cross an ocean to get to me, so I'm not quite sure when that will get here, especially with the mail being slow as it is. I also ordered, and I think it just shipped as well, a needle minder that I know is Baby Yoda. I think Baby Yoda and his pram. And that has shipped as well, and that's coming in the US. So hopefully I'll have that in the next couple days. I think it's estimated to be here in the next 4 to 7 days. We shall see. Trying to think, is that it? I think that's all the cross stitch I've purchased. I do have my eye on, and I have on my official wish list for Christmas, a kit from an Etsy seller that is a Star Wars X-Wing, because X-Wings are my favorite ship, and I just like the idea of it, but we'll see. I kind of don't think that that's what I'm gonna get for Christmas from anybody, so if I don't, I'll definitely be ordering that. But because it's like black and then like that gray X-Wing will just stand out. Like, I don't know, I really like X-Wings. I have a Lego X-Wing that I bought in high school. I think it was like my 16th birthday. I took my money, and I'm like, you know what? I'm 16. I'm gonna be super cool, and I'm gonna go buy Legos. So I have Lego X-Wing and I have some miniatures from X-Wing miniature games. Anyways, so for right now, that is the extent of my floss update, my cross stitch update. But if you'd like to hang around and see some of my yarn creations and some of the yarn projects I have going right now, please do. I know that I've probably already rambled on too much for some of you, but I'm okay with that. This is me, and yeah, it's fine. Okay, so where should I start? Let me start with, because I'm on a Yoda kick, let me start with something that I had finished last year. So basically I have a pattern that I purchased last year. It was right around Thanksgiving. It was right when the Mandalorian first season was released on Disney Plus. So there's a designer, a crochet designer that I've been following for a while. She has super good amigurumi patterns. She specializes in making humans, and she has a knack for being able to capture people in doll form, which is fantastic. She's Crafty is Cool is her handle on pretty much all the socials. She has a little website, she's on Instagram, things like that. But anyways, so she came up with this amazing pattern, and in fact, it was so amazing that she was asked to not sell it. So luckily I bought it right away. So I did get the original first iteration of this particular pattern for a certain alien creature, but just so you know, I'm going to show you the pattern for this exactly like it is not available because it was just too good and too popular and was taking over the internet, and the company was not pleased with it. But she does have a pattern that's that you could easily create this character if you wanted to. So still check her out. It won't be advertised as this alien creature, but the basics and the gist of like the body and everything are the same. So you could easily make it yourself. And she has bunny ears that you can just place wherever you want on this little stuffed animal creature. So you can make a little bear, but just give it bunny ears and put them wherever you want. So anyways, so here's the first version that I made. I made this little guy a year ago. So yes, he's a baby alien, the child. And his eyes are really weird. I did not do the eyes as the pattern intended. She suggested putting brown felt around here. I didn't have any felt, so I'm like, well, instead of cutting out a circle, let me crochet a circle. And the safety eyes, these are the biggest that Hobby Lobby was selling at the time, and it was quite a bit smaller than what the pattern was suggesting. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna just do black to make the eyes appear bigger and put the brown around it. I'm not thrilled with how I actually did it. I should have put the eyelids like on top of the eye color. But anyway, but he's still super cute. So he has a super cute little legs, super cute little butt, and even though in the show his jacket is more of like a bomber jacket, I think it's probably more leather or probably more of a rough fabric for a little plushie that you just want to hold. Having this fuzzy yarn is super cool. So the original pattern called for, instead of, so this is just worsted weight, one strand of worsted weight yarn. Her pattern actually called for a thicker, like a bulky blanket yarn, but that's really hard to find and it's kind of expensive to do it. So anyways, the original version is supposed to be a little bit bigger, but I just used one strand of worsted weight yarn, and then I used a G hook instead of an H hook, and so that he made this guy. Anyways, so right after I finished him last year, I'm like, I want to make more of them. So I started, but I didn't finish until last week. I'd started this tiny little guy. So let me just show you. So here's the first guy. Here's the second guy. So this is, again, one strand of worsted weight yarn, but I used an E-hook instead of the G, so I went down a little bit. I'm super pleased with him, and I think he's the best one that I've made so far. He's the second one I started, but he's the third one that I completed, and I still didn't use felt for the eyes, but I did I think a whip stitch, kind of like embroidered brown yarn around, and then I try to do better with the eyelid of putting it kind of closer and more over instead of under. So I'm super pleased with him. He's going to be a little gift, so I completely finished him. So instead of just pinning his little robe on, I gave him a official cute little button, and he's just super adorable. And I just want to make him all the clothes. I want to make him a little Christmas sweater, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give him away. And then, yeah, so I have a little toddler in my life that always gets excited when he sees me in pictures of my baby Yoda. So this will be for him. But I'm kind of sad to see him go, but I don't need all of the baby Yodas. Okay, so like I said, this is the second one I started, third one I completed. So soon after starting him last year, well, actually I was pretty near finishing him. I had done all of his body. I had even crocheted his little things here. I crocheted an ear, and I crocheted half of an ear. And then I think I've just done following patterns, down counting, and had other projects to finish and stuff. So I didn't finish him until a little bit ago. But the second guy that I started, third guy I started, second one I finished, I just started him. When did I get his yarn? It was right around Thanksgiving. Did I get his yarn Black Friday? No, I think maybe the week before Thanksgiving. I might have bought yarn for him. So he's again worsted weight yarn, but instead of using one strand like I did for him, I used two together, and then I used the called for H hook. So that gave him a much different size. So isn't he adorable? He's so big. Just again, for reference, here's the first one. And with one strand, here's him with two. He is so big. He took to stuff him, it took most of the bag of polyfill that I had to get him, but I'm so happy with him. His eyes are same technique that I used for this guy, but I tried out the dark brown yarn because that's closer to the felt color that she had suggested. But I think I actually kind of like the lighter yarn more. But either way, he's still super cute. I do need to officially finish his robe. I actually may make him another robe. I did actually find in a bag some more of this fluffy yarn, so I might make him a fluffy little jacket. But I should really just put a button on this one like I did the tiny guy. Oh, in case did you want to see them together? Yeah, look at the difference in height. I love how versatile this pattern is, that with just changing the kind of yarn and changing the hook size, that you can get such a variety of shapes and sizes. So I kind of want to make, I definitely will probably make more of him for gifts, but the flexibility of just the base pattern with like the head and the body, then just changing the different ear kinds of ears that you have. So like if you did more like rounded shaped ones, you can easily make this little puppy just like a different shaped nose. If we did more round ones, like the version she has, this little bear, She also has like an add-on, so for a few dollars you can get the pattern to make, so use this base body to make slightly different ears that are bigger and make a little elephant, and then with a little trunk. So she has like a pattern to make a trunk, comes up here. I totally might buy that, because I'm sure some kid in my life at some point wouldn't mind having either this size or, you know, any of these other sizes. Yeah. So anyways, so that's the biggest projects that I've recently worked on. Let me just show you a couple other things. I know this is way longer than I intended. How long is this? Sorry, I'm gonna look at my time. Yeah, like 40 minutes. So sorry. Well, I mean, I'm not sorry, because if you're watching this, you obviously are enjoying what I'm showing you. So I'm not gonna apologize for giving you content to watch. So, a couple things recently finished is this baby blanket. So it's just one big granny square. I know you can't see it all too well, but there's the center of it. So it is really thin yarn. I think it's like Cairn brand. I think it's Cairn. So most of it was this multicolor, like blue, yellow, green, white, and then every few rows or so I put just solid green in there. So anyways, I started this a long time ago, a few years ago. I had a bunch of people in my life, cousins and such, my sister, all had babies around the same time, and I had this, you know, lofty goal that I was going to make them all blankets, and I wanted it to be made with the baby yarn, but small yarn takes a lot longer to make big blankets. So that did not happen. I think I made my sister one for my niece, and I may have made one of my cousins one, but the other bunch of kids didn't get any. I have 2 options of people to give that to in my life right now. So we'll see. It'll be a gift for someone soon. Also started this other blanket. It's gonna be kind of like a long-term blanket, mostly just because the yarn will cost more. I've started this. It's more just gonna be a lap blanket, but it's made with Lion brand Thick and Quick, and each chunk of line, each line, whatever, this much for this length is like one skein. I like to say skein with like an E sound, but after watching more FlossTube and some yarn videos, I'm realizing that I think it's more of an A or an I sound. So how do you say it? Is it skein? Is it skein? Is it skein? Is it like a mixture? How do you say that word? So skein. Anyways, so it's kind of expensive. So to get it, you know, so I got my width, but to get it tall enough, like long enough to be a blanket, it's gonna take a little while. I do have still purchased, and I think I'm at the point, yeah, where is it? Yeah, I do have the next row of dark gray that I could work on. But I mean, that's only gonna give me another few inches, and I still got a while to go. So that'll just be something that I buy yarn as I go. I totally know that it's possible that even though these are pretty neutral colors and are still pretty popular, these grays, by the time I actually get around to buying the yarn again, these exact shades might not be in there, which honestly might be cool. I even may intentionally buy 2 different colors to kind of mix it up a bit and just have like different chunks alternating. Anyway, so it's a long-term project. I don't have a particular time frame that I want that done by, but I like the texture of it. I like the weight. I like how heavy it is. I do enjoy weighted blankets. I have, and by enjoy I mean I have one weighted blanket that I like a lot. And one thing I like about crocheted blankets is how dense they can be and how heavy they can become. So they become like light weighted blankets. And that this blanket will definitely have that kind of effect for sure. So, but I've not made blankets like this, especially for myself, partially just because of the investment they are. So just having myself start it and then being okay with just buying yarn for it little by little as you go, you know, is good. So I don't have to just invest a ton of money on yarn for one blanket. If I don't have to, I can spread it out and buy little by little. So other blanket that I have started that I'm pretty excited to finish. So again, I'm still kind of taking my time with it, but I do intend to finish it sooner than the other one. Is kind of, so going back to like granny square. So I do like the look of granny square blankets, but all those teeny tiny squares and then sewing them together is not something I'm really excited about. I think I finished one official granny square blanket before that had more traditional shaped, like size squares, but it's probably the only time, at least for the foreseeable future, that I'll be doing it. So what I've started is I'm going with these much larger kind of squares. So I do have a I guess you can consider it like an heirloom blanket. It was my grandma's. I think my great aunt might have made it. And the size of her squares are like 4. So they're like, this is 4 times bigger than the squares she made hers in. And it's not very intricate because again, I don't, as much as I love color, I don't like having to change color all the time. So that's why my cross stitch projects I'm going to go with for right now, like bold, large chunks of one color spaces. So this will have many colors to it, but as you can kind of see, it's not going to be perfect. So most granny square projects, like the center color, like these 2 parts right here, would be this color. But the reason why they're not is because I'm not changing yarn to change colors. I just bought a skein of yarn, skein, that had all the colors together. So it just has large chunks of all my favorite colors of the greens and the mint and the blue all together, and it just changes it. So I do know this might look better if I was using bigger squares or smaller squares, but this is what I came up with. So anyways, this yarn is just from Hobby Lobby. It's Yarn Bee Sugar Wheel, and this particular colorway is Peppermint to Bee. So again, picked it because it's all my favorite colors. Oh, you know what? Let me show you. Yeah. So I'm just really excited. So I'm gonna do all of them with a cream border. So as I'm sewing them together, they'll have that to unify them. And I'll definitely spread it out so that, you know, if there's a dense navy blue, it's not gonna be right next to a navy blue, like it will be spread out. So anyways, I don't know how much longer, how many more squares it's been a bit since I've laid them all out, because I just recently bought that skein. And I think I already had bought 2 before, because again, I started this project about a year ago. You know, in the fall, I always get inspired to do all the yarn projects. So I might still need to buy one more to get the right Afghan shape that I want, but like I said, I am more eager to finish this sooner than later. So after Christmas, and after I'm done filming Christmas gifts that I'm going to show you when I'm working on for Christmas, I probably will make this my main project crochet wise, because I'm starting to stream on, I'm wanting to stream on Twitch, and while at some point I might stream games, because I do enjoy games, I might stream Animal Crossing, I might start Stardew Valley, or maybe World of Warcraft or something at some point, but for right now, streaming on Twitch, I am starting with my yarn projects. I at some point could do my crosstube, my FlossTube, my cross stitch patterns on there, but that might be something more that I would do if I have a top, if I'm able to get my second camera to be on the top instead of the current setup that I have. So if you're interested to see me to crochet on stream and hang out with me, you can find me JoyThriveGlow on twitch.tv. I don't have a set schedule yet for when I'm doing that. I'm just kind of seeing how it works in my life. Kind of anticipating it being earlier mornings for me, or it could be mid-afternoon, like right after I get off work on days that I'm working from home. So we shall see. But anyways, I want to finish that blanket, as I was saying, because my lap for right now, the way, let me actually see. Let me go to this camera on. Okay, yeah. So this is because I'm just using my stream setup here. So right here, oh, and it's lagging. So this right here is, oh man, I wonder if it's not connected through the cord. Anyways, that's gonna drive me nuts. We're gonna go back to just my face. Anyways, so as you can see, my lap is visible on stream right now, and I would like to have a crocheted project to display there. And since those are all my favorite colors in that blanket, I think it would be nice to have that as my stream blanket. So, okay. Almost done. Almost done. So I'll just show you real quick. Because I know this is already long, but a couple projects I have going for Christmas presents. Let me just show you first. This is my finished hat. This one is for me, but I really like this pattern, so I will be making quite a few of those. I have one here from my nephew started, so I have two nephews. So this is a black charcoal, dark gray, or black, like a tweed yarn. It's just acrylic, but toddlers, it's okay that it might not last very long. They might lose it, but I think it's going to be super cute. So I'm almost done with this one. I don't know for sure for the boys if I'm going to put things on top. Probably will, because I think it's adorable. So I have this one almost finished, so I'm going to make one just like it for my other nephew. Then I have this yarn, the same, so this is all acrylic. This one's a wool blend, and that's why it just has a much better drape to it, and I like it a lot more. I've bought 2 or 3 skeins to make some more of these for other people in my life. And then I have one knitted project that I'm currently working on. Like, I have another one started, but I'm not going to show that to you because I'm not working on it right now. But I have this little scarf just started for my niece. So I don't knit all that well, but I want to learn more. So this is just basic knit stitch. I'm not even doing pearls because that would just make me frustrated right now, because my brain just does not grasp knitting the way it does crochet. But I really like the texture and stretchiness of knitting, and I like that it uses less yarn. So I want to be more able to do it. So this is all I have right now. I do have 2 skeins of this to make a little scarf. So it won't be very long, but my niece, she doesn't need very long scarves. So anyways, so those are the current projects that I'm working on. So I know this, I know I'm calling this FlossTube, but I really only have that one project, but I do intend over the next few months to have more cross stitch to show you. But yeah, my main focuses are cross stitch for my boyfriend, various hats to crochet, and then knitting that scarf for my niece. So I'm gonna be very busy for Christmas. I have lots of plans. Oh, and then I have this, like, I would love to make some sort of little stuffed animals for my nephews and maybe my niece, but we'll see. I might not get around to that before Christmas. I can always just make them and give them to them later. So, all right, well, that's it for right now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was somewhat entertaining and somewhat enjoyable. If you did like it, you know, as they all say, please go ahead and maybe like this video, leave me a comment, give me any sort of suggestions to cross stitch better, maybe link any videos that might be helpful, and subscribe if you like, because I do intend to do more FlossTube videos in the coming months. And you know, I think it would be kind of exciting to see how my collections of everything goes, my collections of started projects, of things I'm finishing, how my stitching progresses, all the different materials I might acquire. So if you're excited to join me on this journey, then maybe subscribe. So thank you so much.